Marriage, they say, is built on trust. I believe that too. Once, Emily and I had been married for 5 years, and while life wasn't perfect, I thought we were solid. We had a modest home, shared dreams of starting a family, and a partnership I thought was unbreakable. But that illusion shattered the day I found out my wife had been secretly taking out loans in my name. Loans that didn't benefit us but were instead funneled to her deadbeat ex-boyfriend, Kyle. The call that changed everything. It started with a phone call. "Mr. Thompson?" The woman's voice was sharp and professional. "Yes, speaking," I replied, already annoyed. It was a work day, and I didn't have time for random calls. "I'm calling regarding your delinquent loan with Central Bank. Your payment is 2 months past due." There was a beat of silence before I answered. "You've got the wrong person. I don't have any loans with Central Bank. I have your name, social security number, and signature on the contract," she pressed. "Would you like me to send the documentation?" Panic prickled at the back of my neck. "Yes, send it." The documents arrived in my email within minutes. I opened the files, and my heart sank. There it was, my name, my social security number, and a sloppy version of my signature on 3 separate loans totaling $75,000. My mind raced. Had I been hacked? Scammed? I called Emily, hoping she'd have some advice or comfort. "Babe," I said when she picked up, "someone's using my identity. I need to figure out how to fix this." Her voice faltered for half a second. "Oh no, that's awful. What do you mean?" I explained the situation, but her responses were unusually vague. Normally, Emily was all over stuff like this, offering solutions or jumping in to help. This time, she was strangely quiet, almost distracted. Something wasn't right, but I didn't press her. Not yet. Uncovering the truth. Over the next few days, I did some digging. I pulled my credit report, and what I saw confirmed my worst fears. Multiple lines of credit had been opened in my name over the past 2 years. The payments had been erratic. Some paid off partially, others ignored completely. I felt sick. I called the banks, reported the fraud, and began the grueling process of disputing the debts. But something didn't add up. These loans weren't random. They were taken out in a way that required someone to have intimate knowledge of my personal information. My address, my date of birth, my social security number. Someone close to me. That's when it hit me. Emily. At first, I pushed the thought away. She wouldn't. She couldn't. But the nagging suspicion refused to leave. Her odd reaction during our phone call, the time she'd casually brushed off questions about her finances, the way she always seemed tense when money came up. I needed answers. The confrontation. That evening, I waited for Emily to come home. I sat in the living room, the printed documents spread out on the coffee table. When she walked in, I could see the guilt flash across her face the moment her eyes landed on the papers. "What's all this?" she asked, her voice trembling. "You tell me." I gestured to the documents. "Because it looks like someone's been taking out loans in my name. Someone who has access to all my personal information." Her face paled, and she dropped her bag. "It's not what you think." "Then what is it?" I demanded, my voice rising. "Because right now, it looks like you stole my identity and took out $75,000 in loans." She opened her mouth, but no words came out. Finally, she sank onto the couch and buried her face in her hands. "I was going to pay it back," she whispered. It felt like the floor had dropped out from under me. "You did this? Emily, are you serious? Why? What the hell were you thinking?" Tears streamed down her face. "I didn't have a choice. Kyle needed the money. He was going to lose everything. I thought I could help him and fix it before you found out." The mention of Kyle, her ex-boyfriend, made my blood boil. "You mean to tell me you stole from me, your husband, to give money to that loser? Are you insane?" She flinched at my words, but quickly turned defensive. "He was in trouble, and I didn't think you'd understand. You're always so cautious with money, always saying no. I didn't have any other options." "You had plenty of options, Emily. Like not committing fraud, or I don't know, talking to me. But no, you decided to lie and steal instead." Her tears turned into anger. "I did it for us. If Kyle had gone under, he might have come after us for help anyway. I was protecting us." The audacity of her justification was mind-blowing. "Don't you dare try to make this about us. You weren't protecting anyone but yourself. And him. acts of entitlement. After that conversation, I knew our marriage was over. Trust, the foundation of any relationship, was gone. I told her I was filing for divorce, and that's when her entitlement reared its ugly head. "You can't just leave me," she screamed when I told her. "We've been through too much. You're my husband. You're supposed to stand by me." "Stand by you?" I shot back. "You forged my signature, destroyed my credit, and lied to my face. You're lucky I'm not having you arrested." But that wasn't enough for her. Over the next few weeks, she doubled down on her entitlement. She blamed me for her actions, saying I was too controlling with our finances and that if I'd been more supportive, she wouldn't have felt the need to go behind my back. When I refused to budge on the divorce, she started playing dirty. She filed a complaint with the court, claiming I'd been hiding marital funds from her. It was a blatant lie, but it delayed the proceedings and cost me thousands in legal fees to fight. She also demanded spousal support, arguing that she deserved compensation for the life we'd built together. The audacity of it all made my head spin. I refused, and my lawyer countered by presenting evidence of her fraud. The court sided with me, denying her claim. The smear campaign. Emily wasn't done. She turned to our friends and family, spinning a sob story about how I was punishing her for a mistake and abandoning her when she needed me most. She conveniently left out the part where she'd stolen my identity and funneled money to her ex. People started calling me, asking why I was being so hard on her. I didn't sugarcoat anything. She stole from me and lied to me. In a story, most of them understood, but a few took her side, saying I should forgive her. Forgive her? How do you forgive someone who shows no remorse? Someone who tries to twist the knife deeper every time you try to protect yourself? I was done playing the nice guy, facing the consequences. By the time her criminal case went to court, I'd had enough. She begged me to drop the charges, saying, "You don't have to ruin my life over this. We can fix this together." I laughed bitterly. "Ruin your life? You did that yourself, and I'm not fixing anything for you." I worked closely with my lawyer to ensure she faced the full weight of the law. I provided every document, every email, every shred of evidence showing what she'd done. Her attorney tried to argue that she'd acted out of desperation and love, but the judge didn't buy it. Emily was convicted of identity theft and fraud. She was given probation and ordered to pay restitution, though I doubted she'd ever be able to repay what she owed. Starting over. The aftermath wasn't easy. My credit was in ruins, and I had to rebuild my financial life from scratch. The divorce was finalized, and I cut all ties with Emily. I focused on my career and sought therapy to process the betrayal. Trusting people again was hard, but I knew I couldn't let her actions define the rest of my life. As for Emily, I heard through the grapevine that Kyle had ghosted her the moment things went south. She was left to pick up the pieces alone, just as she deserved. Looking back, I don't regret my decisions. I held firm, refused to let her entitlement sway me, and made sure she faced the consequences of her actions. Betrayal like that has no place in a marriage or in my life. She made her choices, and she paid the price.